Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith. Today, I am talking about Wolf Hunt 3 by Jeff Strand. And not only is this cover by Lynn Hansen, but so is the artwork on my t-shirt, which is the cover of another Jeff Strand book. This is one of the most comfortable t-shirts. I love this picture. Check out Lynn Hansen's stuff. All right, so Wolf Hunt 3, right off the bat. I'm going to say potential spoilers for Wolf Hunt and Wolf Hunt 2. So if you don't want anything at all spoiled, go and read those two books. They're pretty quick reads. And then come back here and watch this review. Or you could just watch, I have a review. I think I did a review of both books in one single video. I'll have a link to that at the end of this video. So potential spoilers for those first two books. Now, right off the bat, on the cover it says, a George and Lou bloodbath. That's right, George and Lou are back for some more werewolf shenanigans. And so, all right. I mean, there's stuff on the back cover copy. Let's just say George and Lou are staying at this sort of compound and with some characters from previous books. And the guy, JP, I believe his name is, if I remember correctly, the guy that runs this place wants George and Lou to go on a mission. They have to take somebody else with them that they do not like. But this guy tells them there's this dude in New Mexico who wants to start a war between werewolves and humans. And he wants George and Lou to take this other person out there to kill this guy. And there are reasons they agree to do this. And then the usual George and Lou shenanigans ensue. And I'm trying to keep this so vague since it's the third in a series and you may not have read the first two. So I gave it 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. Let's start with that. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Strand. I'm a huge fan of George and Lou and their werewolf shenanigans. And this follows-ish the sort of the Wolf Hunt formula of George. George and Lou are a couple of bad guys. They're basically leg breakers. They take whatever assignment that bigger bad guys give them. And in the first book, it was transport this guy in a cage. Guy turned out to be a werewolf. And so they've learned that werewolves are real. In the second book, there's more werewolf stuff going on. But they're bad guys, but they're not the worst guys. You know, they don't want werewolves tearing people up and stuff. So they're anti-heroes-ish. And they have a great relationship. They have a great friendship, and I love the banter between the two of them. They're great characters, which I believe is why Jeff Strand gave us a Wolf Hunt 3. People were screaming for more George and Lou, if I'm not mistaken. And it is nice to have them back together, just loving each other, but also razzing each other, as the kids would say nowadays. And some of the other characters, there's some nice evil characters. I like a good, just like really evil character. You have these characters that are shades of gray. George and Lou are kind of shades of gray. And some of the characters from earlier books, as I said, are back, and I like those characters, seeing them return. So it's really enjoyable. It's quick. It's funny. It's bloody. There's some great werewolf action. But the reason it only got a 4 out of 5 is that one of Jeff Strand's greatest strengths is also what caused me to give this a 4 instead of a 5. And one of Jeff Strand's greatest strengths is his dialogue. And it's crisp, it's snappy, it's funny. I like the way characters can say or will say like the most horrendous things in the simplest way, without being like the villains aren't over. They'll say over the top things, but not in an over the top way. They'll just be like, well, I'm gonna shoot you in the head, and then I'm gonna murder your entire family, but not in that order. I'm gonna murder your family in front of you, and then I'm going to shoot you in the head. No maniacal laughter, none of this. And that's enjoyable. But with one very clear exception and one slightly less clear exception, in this book, it felt like everybody spoke the same way. There wasn't much differentiation in the speech of any of the characters, again, except for two. There's I think she's a 14-year-old girl who, at least to me, speaks exactly the same as George and Lou, or the criminal people that they're dealing with, or the maybe or maybe not criminal people they're dealing with. They all just seem to speak the same. And at times it's very funny, it's very entertaining, but eventually I just got to a point where I'm like, everybody talks the same. Again, two people one that definitely does not, one that depends. And Jeff Strand has a great writing style in the sense that there's no style. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. There's no flowery prose. It's very straightforward. He doesn't get into like heavy descriptions of locations and things, but he doesn't need to. He can get across what he's trying to say in a sentence or two. They at one point, George and Lou go to this barbecue place in the middle of nowhere that I forget exactly how he puts it, but it's just a few words, and we know this place is decrepit. It's ramshackle. And then when they go to another location, he simply says, this is almost as bad as the barbecue place, but at least it doesn't look like a light rain is going to knock this down. Something like that. And we can picture it. We can picture that in our heads. He doesn't need to get into these deep descriptions, every little thing. And this helps the story race by, keeps the pace up. So I like his writing style. Excuse me. And I generally really, really like his dialogue. It is his biggest strength, I think. That and the just some of the weird situations that he creates. He does create some weird stuff, not just in Wolf Hunt, but in a lot of his other books. It's just that, like I said, I just got to that point where it felt like everybody spoke the same. And so I couldn't give this 5 stars. 4 out of 5. I think I would have preferred, I know I would have preferred just at least a little more differentiation between the way all of these different characters speak. But aside from that, it's just great, great fun. As I said, it's great to have George and Lou, and they do get into some really weird situations. Some of the stuff, another thing that Jeff Strand does is some of these dire situations can become a bit slapstick in the best way. And so it's an interesting story. There are twists and turns to it. Excuse me. But, yeah, great story, great characters, great snappy dialogue. Unfortunately, everybody, except for exceptions, seems to speak the same. But overall, 4 out of 5. I could bump it up to 4.5 if you could do that on Goodreads, but I can't give it a solid 5. But I highly recommend it. All 3 of the Wolf Hunt books. So Wolf Hunt 3 by Jeff Strand. Very cool cover from Lynn Hansen. Very cool t-shirt from Lynn Hansen. Very comfortable. It's such a soft shirt. But there you go. That is Wolf Hunt 3 by Jeff Strand. All right. Question for this video. How about this? Do you prefer, or what is your preference when it comes to a writing style? Do you like a crisp, clean, fast-paced, less wordy writing style? You know what I'm trying to say? Like a Jeff Strand? Or do you prefer someone a little more verbose, someone incredibly descriptive, a Clive Barker, a Stephen King? I'm currently reading The Talisman, and man, is there a lot of writing going on. If you know what I mean. Do you have a preference? Doesn't it matter to you? For me, as always, it's all about a good story. Sometimes it's about what I'm in the mood for. Maybe I'm not in the mood for something that's gonna feel like it's bogging me down. A lot of times I want something quick, easy to read, like Jeff Strand. But I mean, the whole reason I'm reading The Talisman at this time is I was just in the mood for a big, thick, honkin' paperback book to read, and that's 770 pages. And it's a completely different type of style from Jeff Strand. So I can't say that I have a preference. I think I read more of the former, the smoother writing, the simpler writing, for lack of a better way to put it. But that has a lot to do with mood and the fact that if I read something like if I just kept reading stuff like The Talisman, you'd be getting 1 review a month. Not that that's what I base what I read on, but I'd be reading 1 book a month, maybe 2. But what do you think? Do you? Some people don't like that really wordy type of stuff. Are you one of those people, or do you want that? Do you not want simple writing? Is it too easy for you? Let me know about if you understand this question. I'm not sure if I'm being completely clear, but if you let me know in the comments below. And if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, fuzzy animals, and lately, Legos sets that I'm building. But my Instagram is Eric Smith 5757. I lost my train of thought by adding that Lego thing, but it's ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I have. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.